Hello, nerds! This is Logan Myers from Nerdlocker.com checking in with you about the recent controversial film, The Interview. I just checked out a screening of this film, and I wasn't overly enthused from the trailers I saw a few months back. Thought it's going to be another stupid stoner comedy. But with much speculation and buzz surfacing around the interwebs lately, and the whole Sony hacking scenario, it caught my attention, much like other millions of people around the world. So what's going on with this movie? Why is it bothering North Korea? And so I finally checked it out, and here are my thoughts. This basically isn't Pineapple Express, Superbad, or This Is the End, the other Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg movies. But this is much larger, and this has caused quite a ruckus with North Korea, as you can imagine. Yes, if you haven't heard about the whole controversy in the past few weeks, you've probably been locked up in a basement somewhere. It's been everywhere in the news, social media, everywhere you look. And basically, I just wanted to see what this movie's about, if I'd actually laugh, and if there's anything, really sticking out that would, bother North Korea. The directing team of Evan Goldberg, Seth Rogen return with a different spin, out of their usual comfort zone of stoner potty humor that we've not seen before. This is a more comedic look at the dictator Kim Jong-un and their relationship with America and the foreign country. James Franco, Seth Rogen have that dynamic comedic chemistry we've seen in other movies, more of a bromance, if you may. And basically, their normal comedy is stoners and always minds at the bottom of a gutter. We think it, but we don't say it out loud. When you make a living writing and making movies like this, it tends to offend older generations that wouldn't understand the humor. But with this movie, it's a little different. It's an offensive film that that's put America and citizens of America in danger. We see, this movie, a role reversal with Seth Rogen playing kind of the opposite character, where James Franco's the normal Seth Rogen character. Rogen plays Aaron Rapoport, the more sensible and focused TV show producer of Dave Skylark's celebrity tabloid show, Skylark Tonight, kind of like TMZ. Franco plays the flamboyant, hyperactive, and I thought annoying host, Dave Skylark, that's always basically pushing the limits to get ratings for his TV show with bringing on grade A celebrities and stupid things they do in Hollywood. A few of the interviews that he did in the movie early on one was with Eminem and talking about his homosexuality. Eminem basically comes out of the closet, and he has a whole bunch of clues in his lyrics about his liking for men and not women, which is quite comedic. Another one was Rob Lowe, basically being bald. He took off his hairpiece and has no hair, which is really funny because he's always like the middle-aged dreamboat that most middle-aged women love from back in the 80s. And it kind of reminded me of his DirecTV commercials that he has now, the good and the bad Rob Lowe. But anyways, as the film progresses, Aaron runs into an old buddy at a party and presses him about, Skylark Tonight and all the crap they put on the show. They need to basically put more serious topics into their show. And he's saying that because he works for 60 Minutes, which is all, serious syndicate that focuses on major world issues and, hot topics of today. And basically this gives Aaron an idea to scrap the whole smut Hollywood interview and focus on more serious topics such as foreign affairs and focus on the bad boy of North Korea. So, as the movie progresses, Rogen, or Aaron, is 3 sheets to the wind like always, pretty screwed up, and he sets up a meeting with Kim Jong-un's entourage, and it's pretty funny because he's like answering the phone in the Asian accent, hello, adding a whole bunch of riri and all that, and he realizes like, oh, it's really these people that are calling me. and it's not somebody pulling a prank on him. But anyways, there's some other actors, actresses in the movie, like Lizzy Caplan, who's always a babe in everything she plays. She's a CIA agent that pushes both Aaron and Dave to take out Kim Jong-un. And they're pretty stupid, so they think take out means like take him out to dinner or take him out for drinks, but really she means to kill him, assassinate him. After meeting the CIA, the conversation turns into a lot of wisecracks, and one of my favorite one-liners of the movie is honey dicking, which is basically honey potting them into complying with the request of the CIA. Basically pulling them in with her hot looks to do what she wants, which is kill Kim Jong-un. And basically that goes on throughout the film. They keep using honey dicking. It made me laugh. But eventually I get the opportunity to meet with Kim Jong-un and his team, and they get to fly across the world to North Korea and basically view his compound and the countryside that he lives in. And as they're in North Korea territory, they're geared up with some high-tech gadgets that you would see in like James Bond movies or maybe even Austin Powers, which puts them in like high-stakes circumstances, which includes like a tiger, a device that sits comfortably in Rogen's rectum, and enough fecal matter to make you get sick. But eventually, when they do get to meet Kim Jong-un and find out he's more of a fanboy of their show, it kind of relaxes the mood a little more. It's not as high strung, and Kim Jong-un brings James Franco a bust of his head, like a gold bust. It was pretty funny. And then when they're in the compound of Kim Jong-un's, they are basically involved with a whole bunch of drugs, booze, and women, which is just something you wouldn't think for a high-powered guy like himself. But is that really a bad thing? It kind of brings in that whole, Rogen, Goldberg sense of humor with drugs and debauchery. And as they get closer to Kim Jong-un, they get to see his eccentric side, which they're inside of it, or Franco's inside of a tank with them, and Katy Perry's Fireworks starts playing, and it turns into them, or Franco singing along to it. So it kind of lightens up the mood, and him and Kim kind of hit it off as friends, as you can see. I thought it was really good for Randall Park. He plays the character Kim Jong-un, the North Korean leader, and kind of throws his own comedy into the character, what kind of livens up the controversial storyline. Kind of reminded me of Dr. Evil. Like, he has powers, but he's still kind of funny at the same time. And as Dave and Kim slowly become friends, it unravels with the interview that they broadcast on national TV, because Franco basically brings up some questions that weren't agreed upon and really gets under his nerves, talking about his father, Kim Jong-un's father, some other topics he didn't really want to talk about, made him uncomfortable and really pissed him off, which basically leads into the third and final act of the movie that has a lot of over-the-top action 80s sequences that they did in Pineapple Express with heavy artillery and limbs being severed off, and a final battle sequence with the North Korean leader. Kind of ends funny and over the top, as you can imagine. I'm not going to say much after that. But, it is what it is. I could see it as being offensive, but overall it's a comedy. I mean, that's what they're for. They're not supposed to be, serious at all times. They're poking fun at the other countries of the, Kim Jong-un as well. Basically trying to take him out was the whole premise. Overall, I think the movie's hyped up quite tremendously, and Sony used the hacking controversy as a marketing ploy to plug the movie to a larger audience. Was it a coincidence that this was released on Christmas Eve just before the original release date? Did North Korea have anything to do with the hacking at Sony? Who knows? Who cares? But it's America. It's freedom of speech. We get to say what we want to say. We write what we want to do, write. but I won't get into too much political nonsense here. But I think Rogen and Franco pushed the boundaries in this film. And it's pretty punk rock in my opinion. I think I've seen far worse controversial movies with Sacha Baron Cohen. But I give them kudos for getting the attention that they got and publicity that they got for this movie. It wasn't terrible, but it's not going to be racking up any Oscars. But it is what it is. They did their part in making a fun film that pokes fun at foreign leaders and controversial topics that we have with other countries. But overall, it was a fun 2 hours. Not anything spectacular, but if you're into that type of movie, go check it out. It's not one of the best of 2014, but it's one of the better comedies that I've seen this year. But that's not saying much. So hate us because they ain't us. I'm giving The Interview a 3 out of 5 nerd skulls.